Got some serious irrigation issues today. That one's missing that whole drip tip. Should have something on it like that. That's going to be excessive water. Right next to this lantana. And we have excessive watering for our grass as well. We can't be spraying water up here on the patio or on the sidewalk. We're going to have settlement issues. And these columns, they're wood on the inside. So you soak this with water. That water is going to soak through the stucco, get into the wood, rot this guy from the inside out. Basically create a highway for termites to eat their way into your house. That's not the only settlement we have at the house today. Look at the walkway here by this tree. Completely tore up. But that's a nice little lift. And even the walkway in the front here, we don't have adequate drainage, so we've got some cracking from settlement here. That's pushed down. Got some movement right here where this slab is pushed up. Right there. And even in the driveway you can see this slab settled right in that area, creating a little bit of a trip hazard right there. We've had some of this concrete's been replaced before. We've got a lot of cement falling out down here at the apron. And then the walkway going up to the house, we've also got some decent amount of settlement too. Look at that. Look at that nice little trip hazard. And some more concrete cracking here. So moisture and concrete, they do not mix. And we wonder why we have step cracking, problems with the base of the fence here, more step cracking. And you can't blame it on the neighbors this time, guys. That's on you. Usually I prefer to see the microwave vent outside, but in this case, I don't think that's possible. Well, the underlayment on this house doesn't look brand new, but it sure isn't from '97. You can see some of that underlayment starting to curl up there, peel off. Batten board's got a little bit of water staining damage to it, but fasteners don't look bad, don't look all rusted out. And on top of it, we have this little metal piece up here that stops birds from going in there and actually blocks the UV light from hitting the edge of this underlayment and warping it out over time. So it's been updated. We didn't install this when this house was new, so somebody's been through and put new underlayment on at some point. Just because it's been replaced once doesn't mean that it's good today. You can see that underlayment on the ridge board is starting to peel off in a few sections. We're exposing that ridge board to weathering. Just getting worn out. Got a few good cracks down here. Heck, you can see right through that ridge right there. That's not the way it's supposed to be. I guarantee it. So if you can see here, over time, these shingles will pull their way down. This is called improper headlap. So we don't have enough coverage over the top of our nails. Starting to show out anyway. I don't really see too many of them, but this is indicating that we have some sliding right here. So look at the fasteners. You can tell that fastener is getting old, exposed to more weathering, and then some of them don't get rusted out at all. So some are more protected than others, but this underlayment under this section is shot. There's not much left of it at all. Here's another section of underlayment where you can see it's starting to scale off, starting to wear through. You can see that just flakes right off. Not good. You can see somebody's been doing some repairs. We've got some different colored tiles in certain areas. Doesn't bother me, that's mostly cosmetic. I'm more worried about the underlayment underneath these concrete tiles. Some of these cracks are getting kind of big. I want to worry about water going right through that little crack there now, right into the underlayment. You can see that's going to be exposing your roof to damage. You can see more of that ridge board. Underlayment is worn out on that one. Another big crack here, but I was kind of seeing a little crack over here on the tile that I am concerned about, I'm not just looking for cracks on the bottom, but I'm looking for cracks on the top. Look at this tile. It's cracked out all the way on the top. So that's exposing everything below this to moisture now. Because it's not covered, you'll get rain going right down that hole, and then water will wash underneath the underlayment that way. Mortar caps are subpar. I don't know what they were thinking. That's not even hardly a cap. You didn't cover the nail head, you didn't cover this section, you just kind of like smeared it on there. Didn't really care, but I don't like to see all these cracks and gaps on these mortar caps. This should be chipped away, recapped, so we don't have all those exposed cracks in that area. Like this mortar cap up here on the front ridge is missing all the mortar on one side of it anyway. All of that's fallen off. You can see this one's about ready to fall off too. So I need to replace those mortar caps for sure. Fascia looks good though. Fresh coat of paint. That always helps. So again, we're in a laundry room. This is the laundry vent up on the roof that goes up through the roof. Then we have a dryer vent that goes into the wall and also goes up through the roof. And what happens when you blow them down the same hole? You're gonna have problems with lint in this pipe. You can't exit those out of the same hole. You'll have lint issues. Now these vents, these ducts should be strapped up to the trusses or the roof here. They shouldn't be draped in the insulation and just pushing down all the insulation. I can see that in the rooms through my infrared camera or my thermal camera. I can see the heat getting pushed through there and then the heat transferring through this pipe, through the ceiling, quicker than it's coming out the register. So we're gonna have condensation issues if you keep that up. So just get some of that fabric strap, staple it up there to the roof, and then just hang it. You want a smooth bend in it all the way back to the air handler here. So in the attic here, we're looking at gable vents on the end for ventilation and also soffit vents. So you got two little holes in the soffit. Now this is blown in fiberglass insulation, super white, bright stuff. Well, it's a little bit dirty. But the problem I'm seeing here is this insulation is blocking your soffit vents. So we need something called a baffle, a little piece of cardboard that goes in between this wood here and this wood here on the left side and the right side. And that'll allow air to go down back behind that baffle and get in here. So it can actually pull up cool air and shoot it out through the gable ends. So somebody left a little black bag up here in the attic. I don't know what's going on inside of it. It's right next to the hatch. It's probably something good, although now I'm starting to feel it. I don't think I want to know what this is. Oh, gross. Gross. I don't think I should be touching this. Oh, sick. Oh, yeah. Look. That should tell you what it is. Gross. So, do I just not tell the client? Do I just not bring it up at the walkthrough? What do I do here? Eventually they're going to find a big old dong up in their attic. And they're going to be like, did the inspector see it? Yeah, I saw it. I'm leaving it. Nope, I ain't. Any more dongs up here? This is when you know the painters just ran this thing while they were painting. Look at all the dirt and debris up here too. So yeah, they just put paint in your air handler. Is that good? No, not at all. Are they gonna pay for it? No. Well, I'm about to run the sewer camera and double check the sewer lines to make sure everything is all right, but let's walk through the home first. And at an Elliott home down here in Gilbert, South Gilbert. Got a high combustion air vent. Now there's one on the other side of the house too. High and low on the other side of the house. So we've got good ventilation. Doorbell works. Missing some screens on the house. They usually take these off because it shows better. You can see outside a little clearer, so they take them off. just while they're showing the house. I believe they're in the garage. Pretty clean house. It has been staged. Windows are all working fine. There is some plastic trim that's damaged on it. You can see here and like over here where these latches catch. If this thing is closed when you're trying to close the window, it's going to catch on that plastic and cause some issues. Kitchen, running the dishwasher for a full cycle, had the oven on, everything is functional here. No anti-tip bracket on here, pretty typical. GFI outlets over there, only those two. These two are not GFI, even though they're labeled GFI, they are not GFI protected. All we have to do is stick a tester in here, give it a whirl, it's not working. Garbage disposal hooks up right there. We do have GFI protection on this side of the kitchen attached to that GFI receptacle there. Water, ice, all that working good. So the kitchen sink, you turn it on and it's supposed to just come out the middle, but those outside holes are definitely leaking some water. There's no way to turn that completely off. See, that's just gonna make a mess. So we look down here. The client was a little bit concerned about water damage under the sink. Understandably so. They replaced the wood down here. You can see a little bit of water staining back there. I don't smell anything musty. It doesn't look funky down here. It looks like all the water damage has been removed, so I'm not too concerned about that. These do look like the original cabinets. I have basically the same ones in my house. Nothing wrong with a good oak cabinet. So pretty straightforward in the house here. Same thing with the windows, single hung windows, dual panes, a smoke detector back here to protect the master, primary master. Then we got our wood floor, which I'm not a big fan of wood floors. If you guys remember, a couple years ago I ripped up mine. These are a laminate, type of pergo floor, but still the termites like that stuff. So you got all this excessive moisture in the backyard from all this irrigation. Termites are going to love this area, and if they get in the house, they're just going to eat their way through here. I guarantee it. Another smoke detector in the bedroom. Helps protect us. Now we have no overflow protection on the sinks. Pretty typical. House of this age is not going to have overflows on the sinks. Now the angle stops and the connection line in between the angle stop and the sink is really corroded. I mean, these things are dated, and we're starting to get a little bit of deposits on the bottom of the vanity here, so I'm going to recommend that they swap out all these sink connectors. They're just getting wore out on all the sinks. But other than that, the bathroom is pretty straightforward, single one piece shower. Now in the hallway here, we've got some cracking on the floor, some decent cracking through this mortar, through this grout, right through here, all the way through. And this tile is actually lifting up a little bit. You can see that. So the grout starts popping out once this tile starts moving a little bit, then the grout will just start pulling up. So my guess is you've got a crack in the concrete right through this area, and it's starting to push up those tiles. Got another crack over here. Got a crack through there, crack through there. And usually all you have to do is tap these things to see where they're hollow and where they're not. These things, when they get hollow, they're a lot easier to break because there's nothing underneath of it. You can see all these sections that have popped up are going to be hollow now. Dink. Anyway, got two bedrooms here. This fan, I can't get the fan on. For some reason, the string isn't going to work. Just to pull it. I pulled my string several times. Closet door here is off its track up on the top. See, it's not attached at all. Just need to rehang that on the inside of that door. Then this closet door working just fine. No issues with this guy. And the bedroom windows have tint on them. Just so you know, you can see the film. And you can see the damage there from this latch smacking into it again. Same thing with here, just scratching the tint all the way back. You got to keep these things open when you're closing your windows. Now the electrical outlets are original to the house. Some of them are a little bit loose. They're all functional though. And the laundry room, a little bit of insulation here from being up in the attic. I'll have to clean this up before the client gets here, but ran both of these for a full cycle. Now you do have an electric dryer, but you have a gas connector down there. So you could hook this thing up to a gas dryer if you wanted to save a little bit of money, if you wanted to. And then your connectors over here, we do have stainless steel connecting lines, flexible lines. Then you have a water softener drain that goes right into the laundry drain. There's no water softener here today. Only a soft loop, or a soft water loop. So you've got the plug in there and a loop for it, and then this is the drain that connects to that laundry drain. So when they hook this up, it should terminate in the laundry room. So you got another attic hatch here. It goes just above the garage. This one goes above the rest of the house. There's that combustion air vent I was telling you about. It's a fairly new water heater. It's Bradford White. They didn't put a pan in here. They didn't put a drip leg on the gas line going in. It's not the end of the world, but we'd like to see it. TPR valve goes right outside by the front walkway, and the flue goes up through the roof, through the ceiling. Lots of cracks in here in the garage. Lots of cracks on the ceiling, but they're all straight and they're all square. So they're all sheetrock cracks. They're not like movement cracks, but things that need to be sealed up. You got to seal up all these cracks. Now the garage door was working just fine today. It was actually really quiet. And I was telling you we have more combustion air vents over here, a high and a low. That's for the water heater, because that's gas. It needs to breathe in and out. So the garage door has been serviced recently. I pulled this, disconnected it, lifted it by hand just to make sure that the springs are adjusted right, and they are. No issues with the floor that I can see. Because carpet. You put carpet in here, I can't see anything below the carpet. There's likely some staining below there. Probably a little bit of cracking, but it doesn't look like there's any movement or shifting at all. It doesn't look terrible, just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But you install a water heater, put a pan underneath of it, then drain that pan down here to the floor, just so if this thing leaks, you're not creating a whole bunch of damage around there. Now the connectors up here do have a little bit of corrosion starting to form. I've seen a lot worse. That's really not a huge deal to me. Now, bathroom's pretty straightforward. Drain stops are working just fine in here, but the drain stops in the shower are not functioning at all. This is one of those replacements that you can push in and push out, and it's not working at all. The handle was loose on the toilet when I got here today. I just tightened it up. Literally all I had to do was screw this thing backwards, make sure this was nice and tight on here. Now it's flushing just fine. A little bit old, a little bit gunky on the inside of the toilet. See if we can see, it was from 1998, so it's original to the house. Crane plumbing toilet. But we're good underneath the sinks, no leaks, even though that supply line should be replaced right there. I don't like those skinny supply lines. They're old, getting to be too old. So there's a few things in the house that are some issues, mostly grading and drainage around the property. And whatever was up in the attic, I don't want to talk about it anymore, but we didn't find any more dongs in the house, I tell you that much. Probably not going to bring that up to the client. That is awkward. There's nothing in this house. I mean, it's staged, but besides a couch and a fake TV and a dong, it's a pretty empty house. So I'm going to do the sewer camera inspection. So what does that entail? Start running some water back here. I'm going to go at the tub. Oh yeah, I didn't point this out before. Got some grout cracks. So we need to perform some maintenance. on these grout lines just to make sure water doesn't get down in there, cause any issues. This fan is half-assing it. So I'm gonna get this water started. Just need some chilly water. I don't want to run hot or get steamy down in the line. And I'm gonna go out here and get started on this sewer camera inspection. Looks like only one ABS pipe coming up right now, but we might have two. Let's check it out. Alright, sewer camera inspection at 2778 Devon Court here in Gilbert. Got a single ABS cleanout right in front of us. We're going to go down in this cleanout and see if it angles off in two different directions, or if it angles off, looks like it's going to angle off underneath the house. Now this one angles out to the street, so there's probably another one over this area a little bit. Let's go out to the street first, see what we can find. Yeah, it looks like that opening right above us is the other side of the cleanout. So we'll go do that one next. We'll have to do a little bit of digging for that cleanout cover. ABS pipes look nice and clean. I don't see any major debris built up in the drain line here. Just going out to the street. This is where your pipe drops down. And curves back out, likely to the city connection right there. That green pipe is your city connection at 25 feet. So because this one is angled out towards the street, that means that the other one is going to be out here and angled back under the house. So we need to dig in this area. Oh nice, we got fabric. We got landscape fabric over the top of it. Oh, there it is. It's way closer than I thought. So you can see they poked it up right here. Just about 18 inches or so from the other cleanout. It's lower too, it's about 4 inches lower, so it was completely buried. So let's take that cover off. They did pop it through the landscape fabric at least. But we're going to take this cover off and shoot down that way now. Let's pull this guy out. And now we're going down in the cleanout that goes underneath the home. go turn the water flow off just so I can get a better look at the camera. Alright, so I flushed the toilet and then I turned the shower water off, so if there's anything in the line it should be cleaned out and we shouldn't have too much more water flowing down the pipe now. I'm trying to get around this bend. Camera head doesn't want to make that corner. It's a sharp 90-degree corner right there. That's as far under the house as I can get. I can't push the camera head past that corner. We likely have a few more feet back to the primary bathroom after it turns there. But I can't just keep pushing the camera head. If it doesn't want to go, it doesn't want to go. Inside of the pipe could use a little bit of hydrojet maintenance, just basically pressure washing the inside of the pipe. Let's get some of that calcium deposits and white soap scum and stuff off the walls, paint, whatever it is. Check those connections, make sure there's no issues going on there. But your drain system is flowing good today. I don't see any immediate issues other than maybe a little hydrojet maintenance. If you have any questions about the sewer camera inspection, please get a hold of me, Home Inspector Dan with Property Inspections Plus. Definitely raise your cleanouts out here. You want to raise this one towards the street about 6 inches, just so you don't lose it. Well, this is the laundry area vent. You can see all this crap that's built up on here. Lint. It's gonna build up even worse because we got the dryer vent and this going out the same hole of the roof. So we need to clean this out. These things that are builder grade, you know, you can pop these out, you can unplug this fan unit, just replace the inside itself instead of replacing everything. But at the very least, get in here with a vacuum, clean all this stuff up. This is a fire hazard. As it turns out, this toilet wants to keep refilling itself, so there's probably an issue with the flap down there not sitting completely flat on the ground and just letting a little bit of water go by like that. Can't hear it right now, but let's get that replaced since this is an old toilet. We've also got some rust down here at the anchor bolts. Probably gonna want to put some new wax rings on here just because the house has been vacant for quite some time. So replace those anchor bolts, replace the wax ring. Do you want a new toilet? That's up to you, but you can repair this one and get it to work right. All in all, it's a pretty good house. You know, it's 25, 30 years old, so we're looking at new roof, new underlayment, probably. Gonna get a roofer out here to take a look at it at least. You know, those cracks in the floor, it's not much you can do about a crack in the floor besides replace the flooring. You can smooth out the slab. As long as there isn't major structural movement or slab movement, you just replace the flooring. Back here, this worries me because of all your overwatering right next to your house, right next to the wall. We don't want this to get too saturated with water because termites will find this. So let's adjust your sprinkler system, get a few other things looked at, but other than that, it's a pretty good house. Thanks for using Property Inspections Plus. I'm Home Inspector Dan in Gilbert, Arizona. We'll see you guys next time.